Second. Okay, good morning. I'm going to call the meeting of the Economic Development Committee of July 17th to order at 10:08 a.m. We'll begin with the land acknowledgement. We would like to begin by respectfully acknowledging that the town of Shelburne resides within the traditional territory and ancestral lands of the Anishinaabe, including the Ojibwe, Potawatomi, Chippewa, and the people of the Three Fires Confederacy. These traditional territories upon which we live, work, play, and learn are steeped in rich Indigenous history and traditions. It is with this statement that we declare to honor and respect the past and present connection of Indigenous peoples with this land, its waterways, and resources. So we'll start with the adoption of the agenda. Does anyone have any changes for the agenda? Okay, no. Seeing none. A mover and seconder to adopt the agenda as presented. Walter and Amy, all in favor? Yes. Carried. Okay. If there are any disclosures of pecuniary interest, please state them when we get to that point in the meeting. Based on the agenda, I don't expect any. The adoption of the minutes from April 19th. Does anyone have any comments on the minutes from April the 19th?
No.
Okay. Could we get a mover and a seconder to adopt the minutes from the Economic Development Committee meeting from April 19th to be adopted as presented? Charlene and Althea. Okay, all in favor?
Yep.
That's carried. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the Rotary Golf Tournament update. I'll pass that over to Carol to give an update. Sorry, Carol, you're on mute. I can hear you in the office, but.
Hi. So the golf tournament was successful. We were able to sell all of the tickets. The final number hasn't come in with regards to the amount of money raised, but typically it raises about $20,000. So I expect it to be somewhere in around that amount. Yeah, I think it went well. I think the turnout was great. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to attend the dinner, and most of the afternoon I had another commitment. But I think that moving forward, I think the Rotary is still really keen to move forward with this event for 2025, and I believe they've already started planning and have picked a date.
And was anyone on the committee at the event that wanted to give a feedback or comment on the event? No. Okay, then Carol, I will pass it back to you for future plans for the EDC breakfast.
Okay, so we weren't able to move forward to EDC breakfast due to poor ticket sales. I think in total we sold under 30 tickets, and typically this event attracts anywhere from over 200 people on average. That's in the past, that's the kind of numbers that we were attracting. The feedback that I'm getting isn't that the timing of the event isn't really an issue. I think that generally speaking, there seems to be an overall malaise from local businesses about attending events. And it seems like everyone is having to work really hard to get people back to their events, especially these sort of business breakfasts and things like that. So I think what I'd like to talk about is whether or not the EDC wants to move forward with planning for 2025 and what the committee's feeling is about whether or not we even pursue this again in 2025.
Sorry, Carol. How did the Orangeville and Allison from UTEP,
Sorry, I didn't catch that, Walter.
The New Tech in Orangeville, how did their EDC breakfast? Did
How
they,
did I'm sorry, say that again?
New Tech and EDC, how did their breakfast go?
I didn't even know that they had breakfast, isn't it, Alliston? Sorry, the only people that I'm in communication with regards to events is basically in Dufferin County. So Orangeville hasn't had their breakfast yet. It's coming in September. And they are, I'm not even sure whether or not they're doing it in person or whether it's going to be virtual. I know that there was some discussions about having a hybrid model, but I have no other information outside of that. I know the Dufferin Board of Trade's numbers were down for their events that they held this year considerably. They were still held, but they certainly weren't attracting the numbers for the awards ceremony and or for the mayor's breakfast that they had.
So the purpose of this EDC breakfast is basically get people, the local businesses together, correct me if I'm wrong, and develop them, right?
The main purpose of the economic development breakfast is a networking opportunity. So yes, it is to bring local businesses together, but it's also an opportunity for the town to update the local businesses on what's happening, specifically with planning. It seems to be a fairly important issue for many of the businesses. So and we in the past have also offered educational opportunities. This particular breakfast was basically just going to be networking, and we were going to have the panel discussion, and it was going to be talking about the economy in terms of moving forward, what the expectations are, the interest rate, inflation, all those sort of things.
Right. So as a committee, like, do we have the list? Like, the city must have the list of all the local businesses, their contact information, I suppose. If we can
Yes.
start, why I'm asking is if we can start sending out them some kind of mailer, let's say every quarter, and keep them updated. If we start building up from now, come time next year, they will be all interested. They will know what we're doing, because I've spoke with few people. They don't know what actually we are doing. And quite personally, me, I'm fairly new. I've just been in Shelburne for 3 years, and I know a few people who own the businesses here. They don't have much idea. They don't know what's going to happen, and therefore there is no excitement, and therefore there is no involvement. So I'm suggesting if we can start drafting some emails on what we are planning to do, what we are trying to achieve, and we can start sending them out, then that way we can create some knowledge, and we can entice them to come join the meeting.
So the EDC, I send out a newsletter every month. And in that newsletter, all the businesses that are registered within the town actually receive information and updates about what's happening with economic development. So about 3 months before the event is when we typically start advertising the event, which was, again, this year, that's what we did. We have found that if you start to promote more than 3 months out, it becomes noise, what they call a marketing term, which is called noise, and people just don't even acknowledge it. So it's not advisable to actually push something out that far in advance. We can certainly push out the idea that we're floating, like the we're talking about the economic development breakfast, and maybe we can push out something that says, "Hey, what do you think we should have as a speaker?" That sort of thing, for
That's
sure.
a great idea. That's a great idea. We can start to to learn, to get the taste of the water. What's happening in the market, what the businesses are looking forward to, if they are interested or not. If we gauge that in first few months, like last few months of this year, we can definitely decide for next year based on that.
Yeah. So I'm also performing the business surveys, which is ongoing, and I'm hoping to complete them by September so I can collect the data. The goal is to collect, so far I've done about 60 businesses, and my goal is to do between 80 and 100. So we also will be collecting information from that as well. So, we will have more data with regards to where interest lies, with regards to what business are looking for too.
Great. Thank you.
Sorry. Amy, I think had a question.
I was just gonna say I thought the advertising was really good for the event. I saw it in lots of places leading up to the event. And then I was gonna say a survey might be a good idea, but it sounds like you're already doing that. Like maybe we can in the survey ask if they would prefer a remote style meeting rather than in person, and like what kind of speakers that they would be interested in, and maybe that'll help get attendance higher for next year.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that for sure for sure we are asking businesses now what their wants are, but it is absolutely it does generally seem to be an overall concern for I think right now in the community with most organizations with lack of turnout, and we're not sure. What general feeling is businesses seem to be fatigued. To be honest, they're just overwhelmed with everything that's happening. With their just running their businesses, that they're not necessarily taking the time out like they were before COVID to spend time on things that are fun. So
The problem is most of the businesses are recovering from COVID and the pandemic. They're still going through the struggle of that. But saying that, a lot of the businesses are interested in what growth the town is going to be going through in the future, especially, with the fact that currently the sewage treatment plant has to go through an expansion. Any business I talk to always want to know, where is the town going? How much more is it going to grow? Because that affects their business. That affects the amount of customers they're going to have walking through the doors, whether they, in some cases, need to expand or whether they don't need to expand or what they need to do. So I'm not sure about the breakfast itself, but there is a need for the businesses out there to get that kind of information to them in some format. So whether we go through a hybrid model or whether we go to an actual breakfast style meeting, I'll leave that up to the committee. But just a thought, when we do the breakfast in the past, to get some of the businesses, we actually went to the businesses with tickets and tried to sell them right in the businesses themselves. That is one format rather than waiting for them to come to whatever methodology we used the last time around online to purchase tickets. Because if you wait for them to go online, depending on how busy they are, sometimes they either forget or just don't have the time to do that, or whatever reason they won't go there and maybe do. But if you go into the store, you're sitting there, you're talking to them and trying to get them excited about what we're doing and why we're doing it and sell them the tickets. That might be another thought anyway.
yeah, I do think that was really a successful method. I know that in the past, EDC members have been given tickets and they actively went to each business owner and actively some of the EDC members I know, like Steve Bowles, he was quite active in making sure that all of the businesses that he knew were going to attend. So I know that is definitely door to door and in person selling tickets is very effective for sure. I'm not, I'm going to say about 30% of the tickets were probably sold that way, at least.
Yeah, I've had 10 in my envelope more often than not when I was on the EDC to sell. So that's why I thought of that method. And I'm sure most of us know at least some businesses we can go to and talk to the owners, and if we're going to go with the breakfast style.
So I think moving forward, I think what I'll do is probably, I'm going to say probably in like October, November in the newsletter, I'll put it out there that we're looking forward to the 2024 or 2025 EDC breakfast. And then in that particular newsletter, I'll also allow people to pick an item or a discussion topic, and then maybe we'll come back to this discussion again, because I'll start designing the marketing materials and the stuff that needs to be pushed out probably December and January, so that we can start advertising like late January. And then we'll hopefully, again, the previous EDC breakfasts were always in March. March and April. So I think we should probably stick to that format. It's most businesses are just beginning to get busy again after the winter season, and it's a good time. So we might hopefully maybe 2025 we'll see what the reaction is. But I will gather additional information, and I'll bring that back to the committee, and I'll talk a little bit about the information that I've gathered once it's completed. My surveys are completed.
Sounds good.
Okay, are there any other comments related to the breakfast?
No,
Okay,
not from my
Carol,
end.
I'll ask you to go ahead with the economic development update.
So an application that I made to OMAFRA for funding for our action plan has been successful. We've successfully will be receiving approximately $28,000 to help us with this action plan. Now, the way that OMAFRA is, it changes all the time. I'm sure, Charlene, it's amazing to me how much change there is. But essentially, what has to be done is we're creating a series of workshops, and these would be educational workshops. And I'm trying to look at things that are unique and different, so we're not duplicating what's already being done out in the community. And we'll be working with we're working with a group in Collingwood, and developing a series of 4 workshops. During the workshop sessions, which will be taped, we will be also asking questions about the future with regards to what the businesses feel the economic development should be working towards. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of an update. We don't have the money yet. And until I see that check, I suppose we're just kind of like waiting. And once it comes through and the Fridays in the Park are completed, then that will be basically the next stage will be developing a subcommittee and working towards developing the workshops.
Okay, thank you, Carol. Anyone have any comments or questions for Carol? Okay, the next item on the agenda under new business, appointment of new chair and vice chair. This is on the agenda because when the original chair and vice chair were appointed, it was agreed to be revisited after 1 year. Wade has indicated that he would prefer not to be chair. Althea, I'm going to ask you in front of everyone, are you still interested in being vice chair?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll open it up for nominations. You can nominate yourself, you can nominate someone else. You cannot nominate someone who's not here because they don't have the opportunity to accept or deny. Is anyone else interested in being vice chair?
Chair. Not vice chair.
You're interested in being vice chair, Walter?
No. Althea is the vice chair. You have
Okay,
to.
so, but I still have to leave it open for anyone else who is interested in vice chair.
No, I'm not interested in vice chair.
Okay. Okay, so seeing no other interest in vice chair, I'll open it up for nominations for chair. Anyone have a nomination for chair, or you can nominate yourself or nominate someone else? All right.
Awkward.
Amy?
Yeah.
I can nominate myself if no one else is interested.
Okay, so hearing no other nominations, can I have a mover and a seconder that we accept Amy as chair and Althea as vice chair?
For Amy. So Amy's
Okay, so
chair.
okay. And can I get a seconder for Amy for chair? Charlene?
And me,
Okay,
Priya.
okay. And Priya, okay. Perfect. Okay, and is everyone in favor of that?
Yes.
Okay, so Amy is the new chair starting at the next meeting, and Althea is the vice chair continuing. Thank you very much for that.
Mhm.
And just
Congratulations.
thank you to both of you.
Congratulations.
And is everyone okay with this time slot of 10 a.m. on a Wednesday instead of the Fridays? Because we're finding the Fridays were not working. So we just picked a random time based on the responses that you'd given. So we'll try again for Wednesday for the September meeting. There is no meeting in the month of August. Okay.
So I won't be able to join the meeting in September because I'm away for the entire month. So I'm just letting you know from now.
Perfect. I will make a note of that right now.
Thank you.
And then, yeah, don't worry about responding to the email because I'll have that note.
Thank you. I'll try to respond, but just in case if I don't.
Yeah. Okay. No, I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Okay. Does anybody else have any new business that they want to add to this meeting? Okay, seeing none, hearing none, can I get a mover and a seconder to adjourn the meeting? Walter and Amy, all in favor?
Yep.
Okay, the meeting is adjourned at 10:30 a.m. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye-bye.